Hello students, I welcome you to this session of refrigeration and air conditioning. In this lecture, I will discuss the psychrometric processes of the moist air. Okay, that is when the air is cooled in an air conditioning plant or if it is heated for space heating. Okay, then there are number of processes to which a moist air is subjected. For example, if we want to heat the air, the process named is sensible heating. Okay, and if we want to cool the air, then the process is sensible cooling. Okay, and if we, in addition to heating and cooling, if we want to add moisture, okay, then the process is called as the heating and humidification. Okay, and if we want to remove the air in addition to heating, okay, then the process is called as the heating and dehumidification. Similarly, if the air is subjected to cooling and moisture addition, then the process is cooling and humidification. And if the process includes cooling as well as moisture removal, then it is called as cooling and dehumidification. Okay, so today I will discuss about the sensible cooling process. Okay, in which the air is subjected to cooling only. Okay, and in this process, if you observe, the specific humidity of the air will remain constant. Okay, that is moisture will remain constant. Okay, so sensible cooling process is a psychrometric process in which the moist air is made to pass over a cooling coil such that the dry bulb temperature of the air decreases. Okay, and the specific humidity remains constant. Okay, so here as you can see, we have a duct, as you can see, and air is entering from left side, as you can see over here. Okay, it passes through the cooling coil, right? It comes in contact with the cooling coil and then it leaves the duct, right? As you can see over here, air out. Okay, so the cooling coil, as you can see, is denoted by the blue line over here. Okay, as you can see over here, and its average surface temperature is T3. Okay, so how the coil is cooled, as you can see over here, cold water is allowed to enter into this cooling coil. Okay, and then water after absorbing the heat from the incoming air, okay, goes out from the another end. The same arrangement, as you can see, is provided on the other side of the cooling coil also. Okay, as you can see over here, cold water enters. When it comes in contact with the incoming air, it absorbs the heat of the air. Okay, and then it moves out. Okay, in hot condition. And in this process, the air which is entering, okay, will gets cooled. Right. Now let us understand what do we mean by this T1, T1 dash, phi 1 and T2, T2 dash and phi 2. Okay, so T with simple T denotes the dry bulb temperature, T dash denotes the wet bulb temperature, and phi denotes the relative humidity. Okay, so here as you can see, T1 is the dry bulb temperature of the incoming air, T1 dash is the wet bulb temperature of the incoming air, and phi 1 we have the relative humidity of the incoming air. Okay, and condition is denoted by point number 1 of the incoming air. Right, this air comes in contact with the cooling coil. Not all of the air is subjected to sensible cooling. Some part of the air will not come into the contact with the cooling coil and passes through as such. Okay, and similarly, air after getting cooled, okay, passes through the cooling coil and then it is delivered to the point where the air requirement is there. Okay, in a condition which is denoted by point number 2. Okay, so dry bulb temperature, as you can see, is T2. Okay, wet bulb temperature of the air which is going out is T2 dash, and relative humidity of the air which is going out is phi 2. Okay, right? So air, what I mean in this case is the moisture only. Okay, and the condition for the sensible process is that the temperature T3, okay, should be less than the temperature T1. That is, average surface temperature of the cooling coil should be less than the temperature of the air. Which temperature? Dry bulb temperature of the incoming air. Okay, so in this process, what are the main points? As you can see over here, the dry bulb temperature of the air decreases. Okay, second one, the specific humidity remains constant, right? And temperature of the cooling coil, this should be greater than, okay, than that of the dew point of the moisture which is entering into this side. Okay, why? Because if this temperature is less than the dew point temperature of the incoming air, okay, moisture will start condensing, which is present in the air which is entering from this side. Okay, and in this case you have the collection of the water in the form of small droplets. Okay, right? So these are the key points of the sensible cooling. Right, now how to represent this sensible cooling on a psychrometric chart? Okay, because this becomes very important when you solve the numerical problems, okay, related to sensible cooling. Right, so on a psychrometric chart, as you can see, this psychrometric chart boundary is denoted by the blue color, as you can see over here. Okay, and in the previous lectures related to this unit, okay, you must have studied that constant dry bulb temperatures are denoted by vertical parallel lines. Okay, constant specific humidity lines are denoted by horizontal lines, and constant relative humidity lines are denoted, as you can see here, by green color curves. Okay, with the value of increasing as we move from phi1 towards the uh, blue color line, which is the 100% relative humidity. Okay, right? So on a psychrometric chart, right, we require two psychrometric properties of moisture, okay, to locate a point, right? So for example, if I want to locate a point number 1 on the psychrometric chart, okay, then I should know the two properties. Okay, either it may be dry bulb temperature or relative humidity lines, okay, or maybe dry bulb temperature and specific humidity, or as you can see over here, T1 dash, T2 dash, these are the temperature lines. This nothing but denotes the wet bulb temperature. Okay, or in case you must have the enthalpy of the moisture sometimes is also given to you. Okay, so point number 1 is located with the help of number of psychrometric properties that you must have studied in the previous few lectures. Okay, so let us say point number 1 we are locating with the help of dry bulb temperature and phi1. Okay, this is the point number 1. Okay, this is the, you can say, condition of the air which is entering from the left hand side of the duct, right? And as soon as you locate the point number 1 on this psychrometric chart, draw a horizontal line from point number 1 towards left till it cuts the 100% relative humidity curve. Okay, now when this 100% relative humidity cut is obtained, okay, a point is obtained, as you can see, which is denoted by here TDP, which is nothing but dew point of the air. Okay, so you will obtain a horizontal line like this. Okay, now the cooling coil temperature is generally specified to us. Okay, and we know that this process takes place at constant humidity, specific humidity, sorry. Okay, so here as you can see we will draw a horizontal line, and then we can easily locate the point number 3 and point number 2 with the help of other properties. Okay, for example, if the average surface temperature of the cooling coil is specified to us, okay, then with the help of T3 and this specific humidity constant line which we have already drawn, we can locate the point number 3. Okay, and point number 2 again can be located with the help of either of the two properties. It may be T2 or phi 2, okay, or T2 dash may be phi 2, or T2 dash and T2, okay, right. So number of properties are there with the help of which you can locate the point number 2 on the psychrometric chart, okay. So point number 2, as you can see here, denotes the condition of the air which is going out of the cooling coil, okay. Now let us now discuss what are the changes in the psychrometric properties of the air as it is subjected to sensible cooling process, okay. So here, as you can see, the dry bulb temperature decreases, right. So point number 1, as you can see, the dry bulb temperature is T1. The value is certainly higher if you look at the psychrometric chart, okay. And here the value at T2 and T3 both are less, okay, right. So we have the decrease in the dry bulb temperature of the air, okay. And after that we have the decrease in the wet bulb temperature also, okay. So point number 1, as you can see over here, this is the T1 dash, okay, right. So dry bulb temperature also decreases, as you can see over here, okay. At outlet we have T2 dash, okay, as the value, okay. And then the enthalpy also reduces as you move, okay, from the right hand side towards the left hand side on this wet bulb temperature scale. The enthalpy of my scale is similar to that of the wet bulb temperature. So constant enthalpy lines are again inclined to this you can say constant relative humidity lines, right. Okay, so enthalpy also decreases, and after that you have the decrease in the specific volume, okay. So if you observe the constant specific volume lines, then these are the inclined line, okay, like this on a psychrometric chart, okay. So if you see over there, okay, on an actual psychrometric chart, then you will find that the specific volume at point number 1 certainly has a higher value as compared to that of point number 2 or point number 3, okay. So the specific volume also decreases, okay. Now what about the properties that is subjected to increment, okay. So here, as we can see, the relative humidity at point number 1, this is certainly lesser value, okay, maybe 10%, 20% like this, okay. And then when it leaves the cooling coil, the relative humidity increases, okay, right. So we have the increase in the relative humidity of the outgoing air, okay. And the constant the properties which remain constants are dew point temperature and the specific humidity lines, okay. Now two important parameters are there for the coil. First one we have the bypass factor, and second one we have the efficiency of the coil, okay. So bypass factor, as you know, it is the ratio of potential that is unutilized divided by the potential that is available in a maximum amount to us, okay. So potential that is available, as you can see over here, this is the T1 minus T3. This is the potential that is maximum, okay, and is available, okay. And potential that remains unutilized, that is the amount of air which is not subjected to any cooling. So here, as you can see, 2 to 3, okay, because the final condition here is 2, and we can still cool the air up to point number 3, okay. So potential unutilized will be 2 to 3, okay. So again, as you can see over here, bypass factor, potential unutilized is T2 minus T3 divided by maximum potential available. Now this is T1 minus T3, okay. And finally the efficiency of the coil, as you can see over here, this is equal to 1 minus bypass factor, okay. So if you put bypass factor equal to T2 minus T3 by T1 minus T3 over here, okay, and then simplify it, then you will obtain the value of efficiency of the coil as T1 minus T2 by T1 minus T3, okay, right. That is output divided by input in a sense, as you can see over here, okay. So I hope the process of sensible cooling along with the change in psychrometric properties of air and how to represent this sensible cooling process on a psychrometric chart, okay, is clear to all of you. Thank you for this lecture.